I think that the history has created a lot of tension between both Haitians in Haiti and Haitians in the diaspora. And I think that people in the diaspora have been very grateful in a way to be embraced by America and coming to America and living in their diaspora communities. But I also feel that there's a resentment that should be there, you know, about the involvement that America has had in Haiti. So my story with Haiti goes very deep. Recently, my mother found an essay that I wrote when I was in the 4th grade, and the assignment was, if I was president. And so I was in the 4th grade, so I was probably 10 years old. And if I was president, what I wrote was, I would work for the Haitian people and the Cuban people and the people of Cambodia. And I think, which I probably should have said I'd work for Americans, but I think it was very present in the news during the 80s, what was happening in Haiti, especially in Miami. And my parents are very socially aware, and we were very active in our community as young people in Miami in the 80s. And we interacted with a lot of people from the Haitian community that were coming to Miami during the Duvalier regime. And then as it moved forward in my life, I started to become very interested in the religions of Africa. And I studied at the School of Oriental and African Studies in London. I studied the Christianization of Africa, and a lot of that was the religions that were brought to the New World, the Caribbean, South America, and I became very interested in the religions of West Africa and Voodoo. And as time went on, I moved back to Miami in 1996 after being away for college and boarding school and living in other places in the world. And I came back here to run my family's foundation. And in running the foundation, I interacted with a lot of people in the Haitian community, just by nature of where certain needs were in the community. And I started to make friends. And I started to meet people from Haiti, and I started to meet activists and people who were really working to make Miami a better place, but also working to make their home countries a better place. So in 1999, I became interested in doing a documentary, Uncommon Americans. And these Uncommon Americans were immigrants who had come to the United States from places of political, social, economic strife and succeeded and were giving back to their communities. And I was fortunate enough to meet a Haitian doctor who brought me to Haiti. And I was able to experience the work that he did in Haiti and the work that his organization was doing in Haiti. And I fell in love with Haiti. And I decided that not only do I want to do this documentary only about Haiti, because 9/11 happened and a lot of things were going on in the world. So I went to Haiti with Dr. Michel Dodard, who was working with an organization through the University of Miami that were providing health care to the Central Plateau, the Plateau Central, which I can try and say. And so my first foray into Haiti was I spent not even 24 hours in Port-au-Prince and went straight out to the countryside. I was able to witness, because I don't think I experienced until much later. I think I was a witness in the beginning to this healthcare program. I was a witness to what others were doing to bring to the community. And over time, when we filmed this documentary and when we got more involved with the organization, we were able to empower. That's risky. We didn't empower people. We were part of the empowerment of the community itself through education, providing education to train local Haitian people to be health care accompagnateurs. And this was along with Paul Farmer's organization, which is based in Mirebalais. So over time, I started to see, during the course of filming the documentary that we wound up shooting, it took us several years to film, not only did we spend time with the camera on, we spent more time with the camera off. And when we spent time with the camera off, we shared meals, we shared stories. Even though we didn't speak the same language, we had translators, we had laughter was really our common denominator. We shared barbancourt, which was really something, I mean, you know, it was a real blessing to be a part of this experience of the rum and how the rum was made, and going to the barbancourt factory and just learning how integral things are to people in the countryside and in their culture. So I think that spending more time with the camera off really enabled me to experience Haiti, to experience people, and to be a part of elevating a community through education. I think one of the natural paths that I took was one of questioning. I was fortunate enough to meet some wonderful people who became stellar mentors for me, that showed me both the positives and the negatives of international aid. And these people were not just Haitian people, they were Americans that had come to Haiti that worked, that were frustrated with the system, that were frustrated with this machine of economic aid, this machine of international aid that becomes, I heard once somebody said, every American dollar comes with 5 Americans attached to it. You know, and that's the truth. You know, you have an influx of people that come in that get paid exorbitant amounts of money, that aren't training local people to do local work. They aren't culturally competent. I remember taking a group to Haiti at one point before the earthquake, and we were in a bus, and there were people that didn't realize we were on the same island as the Dominican Republic. How do you not do your research before you go to a country? How do you not want to understand the nature of the culture in which you're going to help? And I think help is another word that is challenging. So all of these things were in my face because I was not only filming a documentary, I was there also as a private foundation director. And I had been working with the University of Miami on some medical programs over the years for underserved communities, and we saw a natural hand-in-hand transition to work with the people of Haiti. There was a bit of what I would say medical tourism that stood out to me during that time, and I think because maybe it was my age, maybe it was my personality, but when I would go to Haiti for meetings or go to Haiti for filming the documentary, when work was done, I didn't go to my room and close the door. Like I said before, I went to dinner with people. I went into people's homes, whether they lived on Montenoir or whether they lived in Tomond, you know, whether they took me into their small home or whether it was some beautiful home on the mountainside. You know, I was able to experience both perspectives. And I do say experience because I was there a lot. So questioning was a big part of my experience in Haiti, and not thinking that I knew best, not thinking that the people that I was with knew best, but trying to learn from everybody. As an outsider, to ask how I navigated the social confines of both the communities that live in the big city of Port-au-Prince and Pétionville and the small communities was challenging. There were a lot of people, Haitians included, that I met in Pétionville who were mortified that I was sleeping in the conditions we were sleeping in up in the countryside. They thought that somebody like myself should not be doing that. They were shocked that I wanted to be in the countryside. They were shocked that I wasn't just staying at such and such hotel. I won't single any of them out. But then there were others that were like, you go for it, you know? I mean, it was both. You know, I think I had support on both ends. But the interesting thing was my mother, who is the most wonderful woman in the world, of course, as everyone thinks their mother is. My mother had a gallery in Miami in the 1980s. And during that time, she had a show for this amazing Haitian artist who she became friends with called Philippe Dodard. And so when Philippe Dodard found out that the daughter of the woman that he worked with in the 80s was spending time in Miami, he invited me to his home. And so I got to see this amazing, I got to see the incredible creativity and the beauty. I was seeing that already, but it was brought to another level when invited to the home of Philippe Dodard. And he introduced me to a lot of his friends. And so I met a different circle of people in Haiti. So I was able to sort of navigate both, I don't want to say both, I would say all, going to the countryside, navigate going to Pétionville, navigate being around certain circles of Haitian people, and also going on Thursday nights to the Olafson to see Ram. Can't forget that. So, you know, around the expat community. So, I mean, I was fortunate to be able to be introduced to all of these communities and be able to play this sort of shuffle game with everyone. First introduced to the Haitian voodoo culture through books, through my education at the School of Oriental and African Studies and learning about the Christianization of Africa and the religions that were brought from West Africa to the Caribbean and the Western world. My experience in Haiti originally started in Tomond, where I was invited to a voodoo ceremony, which is more of a rah-rah, you know, but I didn't know how to distinguish at the time. It was a rah-rah that had a Hugan that sort of pulled us aside and was like, let's do this. And it was more of something that was sensational and fun and exciting and not more of a deep educational. It was more performative, I would say, when I first learned about it. But then over time, I started to see how important the voodoo culture was in healthcare. When we had our healthcare program, how important the mambo and the hugans were to work with our doctors. And our doctors, because of Michel Dodard, and because he was culturally competent, he understood that bringing together the trusted local doctors, which were the hugans and the mambos, bringing them into our healthcare was important because it was a matter of trust. A lot of organizations that are based in Christianity feel that it is evil or it is something that they don't want to integrate into their system of care. But when you look at who is constantly present in the community, it is the voodoo priest, it is the voodoo priestess, it is the natural healers, it is the people who are there on a consistent level. A lot of organizations come in and leave. They do medical tourism, they give immunizations, they do a big show of coming in and doing healthcare, and then they leave. But who's there 24/7? I saw the fun side, the rah-rah, the drumming, you know, I just felt it in my bones. Then I started to see the practical side, the importance. Then I started to see, as time went on, the iconography in Haitian art and Haitian music, the symbolization. So voodoo is a backbone of everything that happens in Haiti. I know that that is a controversial statement, or it could be a controversial statement, but it is as natural as the air. It is a part of everything. It's not to be separated and put in a box. And the academic study of voodoo is very important. Over the last several years, they've changed the spelling, V-O-O-D-O-O to V-O-D-O-U. The pronunciation is different. Mine isn't the best. Voodoo. I think that the importance of the system of belief that people practice in their everyday lives as an influence on culture, politics, art, music cannot be ignored. And all of that is part of voodoo. Our foundation has gone beyond the traditional NGO and aid avenue of working in Haiti because we saw that the greater issues, there's micro issues and there's macro issues. And the macro issues need to be addressed in order for the micro and vice versa. I was fortunate enough to meet a policy advisor to Obama called Jeffrey Sachs. and he founded the Earth Institute at Columbia University. In the 2000s, we created a policy program for Haiti with Columbia University that was to advise the Haitian government on the Millennium Development Goals, meeting the Millennium Development Goals. We were post-millennium at that point. They were adjusted. I went to Africa. I went to visit some of the Millennium villages. We knew that a Millennium Village would not work in Haiti, but a policy would. We thought bringing together policy makers from across the Caribbean and from across the diaspora to advise the government was a positive way to go to help the Haitian government, to aid in the Haitian government's strength. Columbia University partnered with University of Miami. There were a lot of chefs in the kitchen. And I think that when you get involved in policy, there are opportunities and there are pitfalls. And the pitfalls come from cult of personalities, people thinking that they know best. There were some push me, pull you times that went on. But we really believe that in dealing with the macro issues, the micro issues will also be addressed. So we flipped the triangle upside down and flipped it again. So we sort of needed a three-dimensional triangle and not just a top-down approach, not just a bottom-up approach, but sort of a combination of the two. Well, I'm very guarded to talk about how I feel about the relationship between America and Haiti, because I think there are very good things that have transpired and there's very complicated things that have transpired. I think that Haiti is a country that has not been received its dues in history. I feel that the American government has interfered in ways that have been very challenging for Haiti. I feel that the American government has interfered for selfish reasons, because of trying to keep stability in the rest of the region. Now that there is stability in the rest of the region, why are they not stepping up to do more? And when I say do more, what do I mean by that? Do I mean give more aid? Do I mean do more by staying away? I don't know. It's very complicated. And I think that the history of occupation, whether it's military occupation, whether it's UN occupation, or whether it's NGO occupation, I think that the history has created a lot of tension between both Haitians in Haiti and Haitians in the diaspora. And I think that people in the diaspora have been very grateful in a way to be embraced by America and coming to America and living in their diaspora communities. But I also feel that there's a resentment that should be there, about the involvement that America has had in Haiti. One of the things that was so important to me is elevating Haitian creativity, Haitian culture, Haitian art, Haitian music. I am a huge art lover, and over time I loved learning about the iconography that Haitians put in their paintings. And this was really my first interest in Haitian art, was like, look at what does the rooster mean, and what does the owl mean, and how does that infiltrate politics, and what does this symbol mean? And so you learn about politics through art, and you learn about art through politics. And I started to learn that about Haitian art. Like, this is really saying something to me. So over time, I started to meet more artists, which in turn, I started to meet more musicians, more people in the creative community. And then in 2007, in a very roundabout way, I met someone in New York who said to me, I'm working on this project on Haitian music. I would love to share it with you, because we don't know what we're going to do with it, and it's an interesting project. And so I went and met with this gentleman who was a music editor. And it turned out that he was working with a woman named Anna Lomax. Anna Lomax is the daughter of Alan Lomax. Alan Lomax was an ethnomusicologist who went to Haiti in the 1930s to study the origin of American blues and jazz music under contract with the Library of Congress. He spent 2 years in Haiti, traveling around the countryside, recording field recordings No studio recordings, but all types of field recordings and all types of music. Rah-rah music, troubadour music, French lullabies. I mean, everything you can imagine. And he kept a journal, and he kept a map, and he kept all this information, and he took film footage and got married in Haiti, not to a Haitian lady, but was sanctioned. His marriage was presided over by President Stenio Vincent. So he recorded a lot of songs called Messi, Papa Vincent. In any case, so all of this music and documentation and film footage got lost in the Library of Congress. And nobody found it for 70 years. And they happened to find it, and they contacted the daughter and said, what do you want to do with this? This was in 2007, 2008. So through a roundabout way, it came across my desk, and they said, do you want to produce this? So I was like, are you kidding? We have all of this music, hours and hours and hours of Haitian music. So we did. We produced a box set of music that is 10 CDs, all types of music, like I said before. We had his journal transcribed, so we did his journal, and then we did a book that translates all of the songs and gives the history behind each of the songs. And we remastered some of the film footage. So we had this incredible treasure trove of learning about Haiti, of learning about the economics, about learning about the politics, of what was going on in the country, what kind of instruments were they using. I mean, he kept a meticulous diary. So when we transcribed that, we had this amazing treasure box. So coincidentally, it came out in November, and the earthquake happened in January. So the earthquake happened, and all of a sudden, we had all this information. I will brag for a minute and say that the box set got 2 Grammy nominations, which was lovely. We did not win, but we were nominated, so that was wonderful. But I didn't mean to dismiss saying that the earthquake happened to talk about our successes. But what happened with the box set was we were able to then work with the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Culture to bring that box set back to Haiti. We retraced Alan Lomax's footsteps. I worked with a wonderful organization in Haiti called Fast Forward, and they had a program called Cinema en Bas Étoile, and we worked with them, and they were following the earthquake fault line, and we followed the foots of Lomax, and we were able to screen the footage that we had and show people their ancestors, and we were able to play the music and bring the music back to the people of Haiti. It was really an incredible, incredible program. So my interest in Haitian art is my interest in art. I was raised in a family of art appreciators. We're not artists ourselves. We help to create spaces for artists through collecting, through Green Space Miami, which is our new community art space of the foundation. I keep saying new, but we're 4 years old now. And we have at Green Space a place for artists from the diaspora, not just Haitian diaspora, but the Caribbean diaspora, and Miami, artists from Miami, to showcase their work around subject matters that are community conversations that are happening in Miami-Dade County and nationally and internationally. We've had several shows that are focused around Haitian artists. We do, because of our location and because of my passion, we are focused on communities around us. And because of our location, which is right near Little Haiti, we do a lot with the Haitian community. We did a show with Carl Just and Dr. Rebecca Friedman called I Am Little Haiti, which was artists and their experiences in Little Haiti through essays and through painted works and photographs. We've had young Haitian artist Schneider Hilaire. We had a wonderful show with him. We've had Haitian artists like Dudley Alexis, Morel Doucet, Stéphane Arboit. So we've had some wonderful artists that have showcased at Green Space Miami. We've also worked with Rosie Gordon-Wallace, who has the Diaspora Vibe Cultural Arts Incubator, and she works throughout the Caribbean with artists of the Caribbean. Oh, I forgot to mention Acer Sanval as well, is another Haitian artist that we've shown at Green Space. So what we're trying to do is hold space. Green Space holds space for artists of color, artists of, well, all artists, but we're open to create space for conversations around cultural issues facing Miami-Dade County. And through that, we've come in contact with a lot of Haitian artists and a lot of Caribbean artists. There's the standard kind of joke comment that people always make, you know, Haiti is 90% Christian but 100% Voodoo. And people say that because it's true. I think that whether or not people recognize the fact that they're doing something, if you're lighting a candle or if you're putting out a piece of fruit for a saint, I mean, all of that is part of ritual. It's part of traditional practice. I think what gets complicated is this influence of what is right and what is wrong. And I think that there is no right and wrong. And I think Christianity, proselytizing Christianity has done that. It has divided people. It has been divisive in communities. I think that the true teachings of Christianity are not like that. But I think that this proselytization of, we will give you rice if you read our Bible. We will give you health care if you go to church. And then it scares people, and it makes people dependent on a way of life that might not be one that they feel naturally inclined to have. And I think that I have not read everything about what happened last week with the murders of 100 people over this presumed voodoo ritual. But that's what it leads to. It leads to people hating themselves. It leads to people hating their own culture. And it's terrifying. It's divisive, and it's wrong. You know, I said there is no right and wrong, but that's wrong. So I think that Christianity has been very helpful in a lot of ways because of the service to others and I think liberation theology with the prioritization of the poor is something that has benefits, but when it is used as a weapon or when it is used to bribe, I think is when it becomes divisive. My hope for the communities in the diaspora and for Haiti are success, are to come into their own identities, which they are so strong in, for the rest of the world to see their identity and to recognize and to honor their identity, to honor their history. You know, you hear, would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? You know, and I think you can be both. And I think that the history needs to be readjusted for people to understand the influence that Haiti has had on the rest of the world. But I also think there's room for joy and there's room for happiness. How do you smile with people? How do you break bread with people? These are the important moments. And these are the times that we need to share with each other. And the diaspora is part of our community. And the diaspora, we are part of the diaspora. And it is time for us all to really come to a place where we sit at the same table.